rules don't apply. And I have to say, I guess I'm in major disagreement with most people about it. Although I've noticed it's gotten some kind of adoring reviews. But I really thought it was charming. First of all, it was beautiful to look at. I mean, that Caleb Deschanel photography is just, golden. It's so great. That's the one Oscar nomination I think it should easily get. But I thought that the love story really worked in it. I liked the two leads, Alden Ehrenreich and especially Lily Collins, who I thought was not only incredibly beautiful but just charming. I thought she had some really, really nice moments in it, including she shares, the big scene with Warren Beatty, probably the best scene in the movie. But I also liked, Alden Ehrenreich's scene where he sort of tells Howard Hughes, tells him off in a kind of a gentle way. I thought, I remember you talking about its conventionality, and I think it's a commentary on the conventionality of the time, where, people who were even 20 years old or whatever and out on their own weren't supposed to be having sex anytime, or anything. It was like it's such a different time period, and I guess it's so foreign to us now that you can judge by the box office that it did. I mean, probably by the time this airs, it probably won't be in but 10 theaters around the nation. It's bombing so bad. But I thought
it really did, and I have seen advertisements for it, and Beatty's been doing interviews for it for weeks now, so it's not like it hasn't been out there.
Yeah, it's not like but I think we're at a point now where people, we've seen now that the big hit this weekend is I guess it's Mona, the Disney movie that I have zero interest in watching, and I like Disney movies, but I just don't have any interest in watching this one. So I guess we're at a point where people don't like seeing movies about people anymore. So it's just like they have to be animated in some way, whether it's CGI animation or or real animated movie. But there's got to be a cartoon involved now in movies. And
so do you think if they put a cartoon in front of Rules Don't Apply?
Yeah, I think if they had done Rules Don't Apply, but with little beavers instead of humans, it would be a huge hit.
Wow. A movie about sexual puritanism with little beavers.
Yes.
Oh,
but I also adored that little song, the title song, which nobody's talked about as something that's a feature of the film, but it's played twice by Lily Collins, and I thought it was a very, very sweet little number. That's of course it's just her at the piano, but it's played over the credits as well, so it's really played 3 times. But I thought that was a really nice element to it. I saw one review.
They didn't even have a title for the movie before they wrote the song, and the song gave Beatty the idea for the title.
Oh, okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was and I liked how it wrapped up. It all made sense to me, and I was kind of touched by it. Particularly the thing with I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but I really liked the last 20, 30 minutes of it. And as far as the editing, I remember you talking about the editing last week, about the sort of choppy quality to it. That choppy quality doesn't really come in until about the middle of the movie, and I think that is there to show you, to kind of illustrate in a kind of visceral way, the unexpected quality of working with someone like Howard Hughes, basically whose major disease is that he's filthy rich and he doesn't have there's no consequences for anything that he does. So he can do anything he wants, and that creates for the people who are working for him, not only Alden Ehrenreich but also Matthew Broderick, who I thought was very good in the movie. It creates the kind of God, what's next? We just got finished doing this one thing. Now he wants to undo it, and all this kind of stuff. So I thought the editing, where it's hopping all around the world and it kind of stops in the middle of scenes and everything, was kind of a clever device to keep you off kilter. Just like everybody else working for Howard Hughes was.
See, I thought midway through the movie it finally found its rhythm. The choppiness for me was in the first half hour and all the establishing stuff and all the stuff that Howard Hughes wasn't actually in.
Oh, okay. That was probably my least favorite part of the movie, I have to say, because I just thought it was a little slow. I guess I just wanted to get to Howard Hughes, which is definitely a supporting performance, by the way, not a lead. I don't know. I didn't like the fudging of the timelines, and I don't buy the whole thing of it being this sort of fictionalized Howard Hughes with flying the spruce goose in the 50s, and then the Clifford Irving character, who really wouldn't show up until the 70s, being there in the 60s as well. All that didn't make a lick of sense to me, and I don't know why they did it. They didn't need to. I thought that scene, though, with Ehrenreich and Beatty, walking along the pier, and then, and then surprise, it's a hamburger dinner there while they're looking at the spruce goose. I thought that was a really great scene. I thought that there was enough good stuff in it to really appreciate it, and I just think that it's too bad that. I guess I understand why people aren't going to see it, because the trailer was underwhelming, and I don't know that people want to see anything set in anything before like 1970 anymore, unless it's like in the Old West or something.
There was a lot that I liked about it. I guess I was very disappointed that he spent so many years, and he ended up using Howard Hughes is just kind of a device for another main plot.
He really didn't even have to be Howard Hughes. He could have been any. Billionaire or whatever. He could have. But I remember I saw some review from one of my friends on Facebook, who's actually a reviewer, saying, "Well, they never explained what was wrong with him." I said, "Well, didn't you see Aviator? Why does anybody?" Everybody fucking saw that movie. Like, you don't need any explanation about what's wrong with him. And
all you really have to know is that he's eccentric. I mean, even if you just know that, I mean, that's enough to go on. But that is an interesting point because what's the responsibility to kind of spell out these iconic characters for maybe younger generations that aren't aware of them? Because I remember years ago I had a conversation with someone where I talked about how much I disliked Oliver Stone's The Doors, because I didn't feel like I learned anything about Morrison and his appeal, and what I did learn he's a character that I would absolutely have no interest at all in knowing. He's such a louse. And she looked at me, she was like a rocker chick, and she said, "Well, you don't know Jim." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus." I said, "Well, that's exactly my point. I certainly don't know him from the movie." And she said, "Well, you don't know anything about JFK, and the movie JFK doesn't tell you anything about JFK, and you love that movie." And I said, "The movie JFK tells you an enormous amount about JFK. It tells you an enormous amount about him in the first 10 minutes of the movie, in the narration of Martin Sheen. So I don't how much of that is like fat, to tell people, spell out who an iconic figure is, and how much is necessary, or how much should you just intuit?
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Complication.
Yeah, it is. But I do feel like it's too bad that the movie is, it's kind of sad that it's probably going to be his last movie. I don't think any studios are going to be rushing. I mean, I'm sure if he said, well, I have another one right here, it would get financed, but I don't see that happening. It must be a rough weekend for...
in many ways, it's a lovely little movie. I was kind of disappointed that it felt so slight to me. And I say that I like movies about people. I like, you know me. I like that movie, The Intern, because I think it's a lovely little movie. But I was after decades of build up, with Warren Beatty and all this expectation. Yeah.
I expected a drama, and this is not quite a drama, and it's comedic in tone, but it's not really that funny either. So it's kind of it's a difficult movie to I guess pigeonhole or whatever. But that's a good thing, I guess. And sometimes, but I thought it was beautifully made and just gorgeous to look at.
Beatty's performance, he looks like he's having a great time. I mean, it's like a very kind of ebullient performance.
Yeah,
whatever that
I think ebullient. It is. So I would recommend it, and I would recommend seeing it on the big screen to enjoy that photography, which is just absolutely stellar.